Welcome to Strong and Steady, where we talk about building strength, supporting your health, and choosing sustainable wellness for women in every season of life.
And I'm Brittany. I'm here with my co-host, Jessica. She's a mom of 4 littles with such a grounded, realistic approach to balance for low-tox living. She helps busy moms build healthy habits that actually work in real life without perfection or overwhelm.
And I'm Jessica, here with Brittany, a woman's health and fitness coach who specializes in elite aging. She helps women build strong bones and muscles so they can live their whole lives to the fullest with confidence, strength, and independence.
And together, we have over 2 decades specializing in the health and fitness industry. So whether you're in the thick of young motherhood
or focused on staying strong for the long run,
we are so glad you're here.
We are so excited to share this episode with you. But real quick before we start, this conversation ended up being way too important to fit into one episode. So we're breaking it into 2 parts for you. In part 1, we're talking about why bone loss begins in our 30s and what's actually happening inside the body. Then in part 2, we'll shift into solutions like nutrition, supplements, trainings, and daily habits that protect your bones as we age. So let's dive in. Welcome back. We are so glad you guys are joining us again this week. And I'm really excited for this topic because as we were looking over it, I was like, that's what I've been told. Oh, I've been told a lot of that. And so I'm really excited for Brittany, especially. You're going to share a lot more about women's bone health with us. And one thing I found fascinating was that it actually starts declining around age 30 or so.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Fun fact is that osteoporosis, you don't just wake up to it when you turn 70.
Oh.
I
Which is
know.
what I thought. My grandma did. I'm pretty sure she had osteoporosis. And yeah, hearing that, that can start now. Definitely
Right. Yeah.
eye-opening.
Yeah. Well, and even most women are dealing with osteopenia, which is the pre-osteoporosis.
Mm.
And I think of even my mom, she was diagnosed with that. And I was kind of thinking, I'm like, well, my mom's really healthy. She eats healthy. I don't know
Mhm.
what's wrong. But so she actually is, and I love my mom. Her and I were best buds. Um, and she won't get mad about me saying this. But then it's now that she's in my elite aging program where I have exercise, nutrition, all of the things, actually the compound of what actually helps you build that bone density.
Mhm.
We were looking at her protein and I was like, oh, mom.
Oh.
Where's your chicken?
Uh-huh.
Where's your protein? And then she's like, "No, I'll just have vegetables." I'm like, "Vegetables are great, but you need the protein."
Yes.
And, and then she was always so busy that she didn't really ever exercise. She would go walking, she
Mhm.
was very active, but as far as, weight-bearing exercises, she was so busy with us kids that she was like, "Oh, no, I don't have time for that."
Right.
And now it's like, "Oh, now I really have to take care of it."
Mhm.
So
And
yeah, that's the
hearing that, it for me, it's eye-opening because I know a lot of times, people are like, "Oh, do you work out?" I'm like, "Yeah, I carry the kids around." But, no, needing to be more intentional about it and the weight bearing and just kind of putting those steps into motion now.
Yeah. Well, and you even think about the silver sneakers classes, which I love silver sneakers classes. I taught them. And I just love them. They're so much fun. But the thing is though, is that you have to have, in order for your bones to really respond, any weight bearing exercise is going to be better than nothing. And you
Mhm.
think about the little 1 pound weights where we're like, oh, I don't want to bulk up. Let me just use these little 1 pound weights. But the fact is that in order for your bones to actually really respond and to be able to possibly reverse that osteoporosis, is you have to have, you have to keep on adding weight. So if you start off with the 5 pounds,
Mhm.
then you have to have that progressive overload in order to really have your bones adapt to that.
Mhm.
And they're like, oh, I need to get stronger. I need
Yeah.
to build this. And that's why progressive overload is so, so important.
Mhm.
Yeah, and so, bone loss, it doesn't even just start at, menopause. Like Jessica said, it starts, as early, as in your 30s. So your peak bone mass for us women is built actually like in your teens and in your 20s, which I feel like nowadays, about in the teens and the 20s, a lot of that's kind of like when us girls start dieting, when we
Mhm.
start cutting out carbs, when we start cutting out protein or fats or whatever. And I feel like that has really had a reverse effect on us later in life. Like you think about like my mom's age, they grew up in the 80s where it was like fat makes you fat. You need to
Mhm.
constantly do aerobics. And I love Jane Fonda and I love step aerobics. I taught that too. But it's not going to do for your bone density like it needs it to.
Mm. Yeah, that's good thinking about too. Like, I've recently started doing Zumba. Nothing right now, we're at the early stages, we're just getting consistent once a week, but they will bring like weights too. And at first I was like, weights? Like it's Zumba. But hearing that, like we need to be adding that in and to be increasing it to make our bones strong.
Yeah, yeah, and like you said, like, kids, yes, they are weight bearing where if you're carrying them around all
Uh-huh.
the time, then yeah, it's weight bearing. I have
Mhm.
my little baby, she loves going on walks, and I love going on walks with her, but the way that I have to carry her, I'm like, "Good night, nurse. You are heavy. You
Yeah,
are heavy."
yeah.
And I'm yeah, and so the thing is that like after 30, so you are either maintaining or losing, you're not actually like automatically building bone density. It's actually like if you are not exercising, you are actually declining. And so
That's
many of
crazy.
these tests that we have like for osteoporosis or anything, nobody does that until you're old. Like
Mhm.
literally until you're like you tell the doctor you're like, "Hey, I think I'm going through menopause." Then they will possibly think about doing a test on your bone density.
Wow.
But the fact is that it starts in your 30s is when it starts to decline.
Mhm.
Um, and so I guess you could say like the how common bone loss is in women compared to men. Like, first of all, we start off with less bone mass than men do. Like men are just stockier. Like
Mhm.
they were made to carry things, I don't know. I think back in the dark ages. Um, but actually, so like 1 in 2 women over 50 will actually break a bone from osteoporosis.
Wow.
And the sad thing about this is that sometimes it's actually from our sedentary lifestyle. So my PT, my grandma's PT lady, my grandma fell, broke her hip,
Mhm.
and was rushed to the hospital, all the things. But what she was saying is that when you have a sedentary lifestyle, you're sitting down and you're having all of that pressure on that pelvic bone.
Mm.
And so and it's actually like it starts to fracture a little bit. So then let's say that they get up and then they fall. Well, that bone has already been fractured. So then you hit it and then it's actually going
Mhm.
to completely break it now. And so that's why it's so important that you do make sure that you are getting up, doing weight bearing exercises,
Mhm.
walking. And honestly, over 40 million women have osteopenia, which is that's the early stages of osteoporosis.
Mhm.
And so, like I said, women are far more likely than men to actually experience bone loss and fracture just because we did start out less. And that's not just one of the factors, though. Um, so like I said, women start off with less than men, but yay for us, we have a lot more hormones that adjust.
Woo!
Yay! Um,
Hormones getting us again.
I know. It's like karma's coming back around. No,
Aw,
that's
come
when
on,
you're like,
Eve.
thank you so much, Eve. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Mm.
Um, but so you think about like, so a lot of, let's say, like perimenopause or menopausal women,
Mhm.
what happens is that the estrogen actually starts declining. So it literally, you're not getting as much estrogen because you're not trying to make babies or anything like that. And so, but estrogen is actually very protective for bones. And so when your estrogen starts to decline, that bone loss actually accelerates. And that's why it's so important also to really focus on hormone health, not just like, oh, hey, I'm
Mhm.
going to go get hormone therapy. Because I have heard, this is not medical advice, but I have heard that when you are taking synthetic forms of different or like hormones, that it
Mhm.
can cause certain cancers. And so, like I said, it's not medical advice. Those are just some things that I have read from some medical journals. And so I would just be very careful. I would talk to your doctor about it. I would talk to a homeopathic doctor about that if that is something that you are needing.
I think that
And
goes back to just research what you're doing, what you're using,
exactly.
research it, make sure you are taking the best possible version of it.
Yeah, yeah. And then also like starting at the base, like starting with your exercise, starting with your nutrition, starting with your gut
Mhm.
health. If you start with those and then let's say like 6 months down the road or like 3 months, 6 months down the road, you look and you're like, "Okay, that I still need this." That's when you
Mhm.
add in certain things. And so another fun fact about why we're kind of screwed when it comes to bone health sometimes. I don't know if that's the correct word, but is pregnancy and motherhood.
Oh.
So this is actually the depletion that nobody talks about
Yay.
at all.
Yeah,
So
it's crazy.
yeah, yeah. So think about like during pregnancy and breastfeeding. So the babies will actually pull minerals from
Mhm.
you because it's not saying, oh, mommy didn't eat this. I don't need that. It's
Mhm.
going, no, we're going to find that little mineral somewhere in her
Yep,
body and we're going to take it.
yep,
Jessica, you were saying on the last episode
yep.
what your lactation consultant said.
Yeah, 'cause that there was, actually twice it happened where I was pregnant and breastfeeding for, I don't know, 2, 3 months at a time, and she was explaining it. She's like, "Your body your body, your nutrients takes care of the smallest baby at a time." So, when I was pregnant, it was the baby in me was getting the first pick of everything. Next, it was the baby who was nursing, and then my body just got whatever was left over. So, if I wasn't nourishing my body, which honestly at that time there was a lot of days I was not nourishing it properly, like, I could feel the effects of it because there was nothing left.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And so I, when before I got pregnant, I was like, yeah, I'm going to have this, and this when I'm pregnant. It's going to be so good. I
Nope.
don't care about weight. No, it doesn't work that way. But instead of focusing, because I know, like for me, I'm like, I cannot eat that much food. Like,
Mhm,
I'm sorry, but when you tell me I need like over 2,000 calories, like about 2,000
mhm,
like 2,500 calories is basically like about what you need if you're exercising and breastfeeding, lack of sleep, all the things. That's a lot of food. And
mhm.
you're busy with the baby, you're busy with the kids. And it's like, where the heck am I going to get all of these calories? And you
A
don't
lot
want
of
to
the
just have,
times, my food is just whatever the kids didn't eat.
yeah,
Like, "Yep, I'll take
exactly.
that from you." Like, I I thought I cooked myself chicken nuggets, but you ate them all,
I know,
except
I
for
know.
the 5 bites of one from you. Yeah, anyways.
Yeah, I know, I know. And so it's like we have to not just focus on how much that we're eating, but the nutrient dense food that we're
Mhm.
eating. Having the good healthy fats,
Yep.
avocados and salmon and making sure you're eating a lot of protein. Like
Mhm.
when it comes to about how much protein that you need, and don't be scared ladies, you can do this. I know you can is when you're breastfeeding, you actually need about 1.7 grams of protein per ideal body weight.
Wow.
So if your ideal body weight is 150 pounds and you did just the average 1 gram of protein per ideal body weight, that's 150 grams of protein right there.
Wow.
So, yeah, and I'll drop in the show notes kind of like how you can measure that without having to
Mhm.
measure that. Because I don't know
Yeah,
about y'all, but my baby, she's
and
almost 1 and she's starting to eat my food. And so I'm like, well, we'll
Mhm.
just make a little extra. Or some days
Yep.
she's like, she doesn't want anything to do with the food. And then other days
Yep.
she's like, I'm gonna eat all your food, mom. Like I'm
Yep.
eyeballing it, I'm eating it.
Yep.
So think about the nutrients. Like you have to have good nutrients.
Mhm.
And like Jessica was saying is like if you have multiple pregnancies and you're chronically under eating, that really does become
Mhm.
long-term mineral loss. So it's not just, oh, hey, it's eating away at your bones, but the fact is that it's eating away at the minerals that your bones are made up of. And then that in turns into bone loss. Um, so, and honestly, the sad thing is that the depletion can literally silently impact bones for years.
No.
Um, I know.
No. I'm already 4 pregnancies in,
I know.
and my first thought was, "Well, I'm just doomed," but that reminder, no, I'm not. Like, I
Yeah,
can start now, I can start working at it. It's about baby steps and just know better, do better.
exactly. It's not about all or nothing. It's just about those small things
Yep.
that we can change.
Yep, it's not,
Um,
"Didn't start it then, I can't start now." That's
oh,
no,
exactly.
not at all.
Exactly. It's never too late and it's never too early to
Yep,
start working on your health.
yep.
So a few things that can actually like lifestyle factors that are actually speeding up your bone loss. So one is lack of resistance training. So walking alone is not enough. I'm sorry. I love walking. You like walking is essential.
Mhm,
Dancing is amazing. Like it helps you get your steps and everything. Cardio is great, but it's not putting enough like bearing on your bones to actually have that response to where it's going to help build your muscle and your bone. So you have to have, I would say, at least like aim for about 2 to 3 days a week of strength training. And what I personally suggest is more compound movement. So I am a free weights person all all day, every day. Machines are good for certain things,
mhm,
but you will get a better response from doing like free weights. So your dumbbells, barbell, any kettlebell, anything like that, because what it does is that it actually, your body literally has to use your core more to do
mhm,
that to actually help control that. And then it actually literally like the neuroendocrine system. Hopefully I said that right.
mhm.
I have a
I
hard,
don't know,
I'm like,
so we'll say
I may
yes.
know what I'm talking about, but as far as me pronouncing things, I've never been that good. So, but basically it's like your brain and your muscle connection is what it is.
Mhm,
And so if basically your body responds a lot better because it's having to talk more to build those muscles because you are doing those compound movements. And when I say a compound movement, you're think about like a squat, like you're using your legs, you're using your core. If you're doing a front squat, you're having to use your arms to hold that weight. Or if you're doing a lunge, you're using not just your glutes, but your hamstrings, your quad, your calves, like all of those things and your balance. And so your body is like, yes, like we love this stuff. Like, let's do this. And they have to transfer. Like, I tell people, I'm like, if your workouts are not transferring over to everyday life, then what are you doing? Like,
mhm,
we need to change it because if it's not helping you pick up your kids or your grandkids without killing your, like, literally pulling your back out, or if it's not helping you kneel on the side and help like give them a bath without your back dying,
mhm.
then like we need to change it. We need these movements that literally transfer from the gym into everyday life.
Yeah, and I think that's a lot, like, I know me personally, I'm sure a lot of us don't really, like, make that connection, like, what I'm doing in the gym should be, like, transferring over into everyday life, like, especially in college, I was the one, "Oh, I went and ran a mile on the treadmill, I can go get a shake now, I it counteracts." But, like, having it transfer over to that so we are able to do those things. I know if you're like me, like, Brittany, you're sitting here like, "Oh, do this, do that." I'm going, "Do what? Do what?" And so, real quick, if you have not found us on Instagram, go find us on Instagram. We'll have Brittany put a couple, just, like, demo videos up, and that way, it kind of gives you that first step to take as well.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, and how to do them correctly too, because
Yes.
we if you're also like, "I'm supposed to do what?" Like,
Uh-huh.
I think of I used to train some kids, and they're so funny. I'm like, "Okay, we're gonna do squats." And they're like, "Oh, well, look at this squat that I do." And they're oh my gosh, it's like they're, like, going
Yep.
A to the G, their knees are going all over the place,
Yep.
and I'm like my knees are like just dying just watching you, so we want to
Yeah,
make sure that you're doing them correctly too.
absolutely.
And you can totally send us, like, this sounds crazy, but you can send us your video on
Yeah.
Instagram and I will totally be happy to critique
Mhm.
anything for you.
Yeah.
Um, and so another lifestyle factor that can cause bone loss is chronic dieting and under eating protein, which we already kind of like talked about this, is that constant yo-yo dieting and finding new things. Your body is like, "What the heck is going on?" And
Mhm.
it's only looking for survival mode. Its main
Yep.
initiative is to survive, not to lose weight, not to look like a smoke show. Like, and the thing is that in turn correlates to high stress, and then that when you have all that high stress, you're also releasing too much cortisol, and that cortisol can actually deplete your estrogen and
Mm.
progesterone. So that
Oh.
one is a very dominant hormone is
Mhm.
your cortisol. And so when that happens, is that it's actually going to increase your bone breakdown. So it's like you have that chronic dieting where your body is literally in this constant fight or flight mode. And then you're having that high stress. And granted, you may not be yo-yo dieting, but you're constantly thinking about all these high stressful things. Like if you have boys or kids, you're constantly stressed. It is what it is. And when people
Don't
tell me,
tell
"You
me,
just need to
brother.
stress less," and I'm like, "Cute."
Yeah, did you walk into your one-year-old on the counter with salt in their hand, like, dumping it out because they climbed up the kitchen counter, like or
Yeah,
chair on the
yeah.
table? You know
You go to
yeah,
the bathroom for 1 minute and
yeah,
they're like a little tornado.
yeah.
My husband came home and he was like, "Why is she getting into all this stuff?" And I'm like, "I am choosing my battles, son. Like,
Uh-huh,
I am choosing."
uh-huh. Our main one right now is close the bathroom door, otherwise she's playing in the toilet again. I'm like,
Oh
"Please, just
gosh.
I just put clothes on you for once.
I know, right?
Play in the
Right.
toilet."
Yeah, yeah.
At
So
least the other kids flush the toilet.
oh,
I'm
yes,
like,
praise
"Okay,
God.
we at least got that,"
We're
but
we're
yeah.
good, we're good. Yeah.
Squirrel.
Yep. And so and also though with the high stress, it can also be from certain workouts. Like if you are doing hit workouts every single day, 75 hard to be honest, where you're like doing 2 45-minute workouts that are high intensity, like that puts a lot of stress on your body. And for
Mhm,
us women, we have to really listen to our body on that. And I'm not saying like stress less, but we need to find ways and learn ways that help us manage that
mhm.
stress. One thing that I have my ladies do is like vagus nerve exercises. And so if you go to our Instagram page, you'll actually find some exercises on how to literally regulate your vagus nerve. And this is going to help as far as like, because yeah, like I'm sorry, but I can't get rid of my kid. My kid and my husband
Right?
are probably the most stressful people ever for me, but I'm not getting rid of them. It's not possible.
Yep.
But we can learn how to manage stress and we can
Mhm.
help our bodies get back into that homeostasis.
Well, thank you, Brittany, so much for sharing all of that. We are going to pause the conversation there today, but I can't wait to hear more. We want to leave you with one last thought. This comes from Proverbs 17:22. A joyful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones. Thanks for tuning in today. That concludes part 1. If this is already eye-opening, part 2 is where things get empowering. We're going to break down what actually works to support bone density. Things like what to eat, how to train, what supplements matter, and why your gut health plays such a big role. This isn't about fear, it's about taking control early. So be sure to tune in to part 2. Thanks so much for hanging out with us today. If this episode resonated with you, we'd love for you to come hang out with us over on Instagram. You can find us at The Strong and Steady. And if you enjoyed today's conversation, be sure to subscribe and share this episode with a friend. We'll see you next time on Strong and Steady.